Rapporteur, thank you very much indeed for your important visit to Cuba in 2019, where you addressed the human rights abuses.
Stop your intervention. I see Cuba has a point of order. Please.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Vice President. We are speaking on a point of order in line with Article 113 of the Rules of Procedure of the United Nations General Assembly. At the current time, we are hearing from supposed representatives of the NGO Ingénieurs du Monde. However, the public information which exists on these people and on that organization would indicate that this person is not a member of that organization. Therefore, under Article 7 of the Human Rights Council Rules of Procedure, which states that participation of NGOs shall be based on the provisions, in particular, of Resolution 1196/31 of the Economic and Social Council and the practices observed by the Human Rights Council, we request that the accreditation of this person be immediately reviewed and that this be done in line with the established procedures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have been informed that the speaker has been accredited in conformity with the established procedures. NGOs in consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations can accredit the persons of their choosing. Complaints about the conduct of an NGO should be addressed to the NGO Committee of ECOSOC. Now I give the floor to Speaker. Please continue.
Son enviados por el gobierno.
Migrants are sent abroad by organizations and the impact of...
Please stop your intervention. I see that Cuba is asking for the floor.
I regret to interrupt once again, sir. We take the floor again on a point of order in line with Article 113 of the United Nations Rules of Procedure of the General Assembly. The person taking the floor has referred to issues which are outside of the agenda of the Human Rights Council, which are currently being discussed at this time. We are on the interactive dialogue with a special rapporteur on trafficking in persons, examining the thematic report of that rapporteur with a human rights-based approach to trafficking, eradicating a criminalist approach. Now, we believe that the speaker is trying to create a link between the medical situation in Cuba and trafficking in persons, and we believe this is completely unacceptable and alien to this debate. We have insisted on this and other occasions that the agenda of the Council must be respected. Therefore, it is not possible for the work of this body to be manipulated by persons outside of this body who base groundless accusations and violations of Resolution that is 01 of ECOSOC, paragraph 57A. Therefore, we request that the relevant procedures be complied with. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see that Venezuela also asked for the floor. Please.
Thank you, Vice President. Venezuela would like to support Cuba's point of order. We recognize the contribution made by civil society organizations who, in a constructive way, take part in the Council's work with a view to enriching their substantive discussions under this agenda item 3. But in this particular situation, the speaker is out of order as he is using the space given to him to make comments against a state of the member of this body. Moreover, the use of language is inappropriate as it is used right now addressing the Human Rights Council, and therefore we would like to not allow this, and we call on the speaker to remedy his behavior, and if he fails to do so, we would like his right to speak to be withdrawn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is China.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. China supports the point of order submitted by Cuba. We hope that relevant speakers will not deviate from the content of our meeting. and abide by the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. China hopes that the President will make a fair judgment in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see that Australia also asked for the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Australia generally supports the right of civil society to participate in the Human Rights Council, and we would urge you to consider allowing them to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any further requests for the floor. Okay, I see Eritrea.
Vice President, my intervention is to see whether or not we're talking about the participation of civil society. We all understand the participation of civil society is important. However, it should be in line with the agenda that we're talking about. We're now talking about special rapporteurs issues, and particularly this agenda deals with a subject matter that we do not have to derail ourselves from. So this is exactly the point. It's not about having blocking civil societies, but civil society should act in accordance to the laws and procedures of the General Assembly and this Council, and it should be relevant to each and every item that we talk with. There is an item particularly debated and particularly devoted for what the intervention was about. He can say it there. This civil society can use the space and the subject whenever it is appropriate. This is the point of order, and we support the point of order when it is exactly substantiated by this kind of argument. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently holding the interactive dialogue on the report of the Special Rapporteur on trafficking of human beings, especially women and children. Questions or comments stemming out of the report or statement are in order. In this context, speaker may refer to specific situations by way of example. I ask the speaker to focus on the issue under discussion. With this in mind, I give the floor back to the speaker.
Dinero recaudado.
They do not benefit from healthcare or cancer treatment or the high-resolution diagnosis as occurred with patient number 322597, my sister, who was denied immunotherapy.
I see Cuba is asking for the floor.
Gracias, Presidente.
Thank you, Vice President. It is ever more clear that there is an intention to manipulate this space and use it to discuss issues that do not fall under the agenda item. We cannot allow this. We need to respect the Council, respect the rules of procedure, and respect your authority as President. So we do ask you to act in accordance with the circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you. I see that delegation of North Korea, I think it's asking for the floor.
Thank you, Vice President. The DPRK delegation fully support the point of order by Cuba. I thank you.
Thank you very much. After listening these 2 points of order, I will ask again, Speaker, please do focus on the issue under discussion.
Ya sea por falta.
This is because there was a lack of medication and the use of a placebo instead of the active substance, and this was a means of torture, and she was forced to...
I see that Cuba is asking for the floor.
Señor Presidente.
President, thank you very much. We could spend our entire day here in this situation, which is extremely unpleasant, but we will not allow for the agenda to be trampled upon. It is a lack of respect vis-à-vis the Special Rapporteur, who is listening to the debate remotely, and it is disrespectful to all the members of the Council. We will not allow any violation of the rules of procedure. So please act as according to procedure. Thank you.
That's fine. I see Australia is asking for the floor.
Thank you, Vice President. I'll just add that the Speaker has not yet finished and should be given the opportunity to connect his speech to the topic of this debate. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, while the beginning of the statement is relevant to the issue under discussion, the latter part is not. I invite the Speaker to focus on the issue under discussion. With this, I give the floor back to the Speaker.
Para reprimir al ciudadano cubano.
These funds are used to crack down on your average Cuban citizen under a regime of modern slavery and to resume with the...
Can you stop, please? I see that Cuba is asking for the floor.
Gracias, Presidente.
Thank you, President. I would like to ask you, with all your authority to steer this debate, up until when are we going to allow such lack of respect to be shown in this council? Thank you.
I would like to ask the Speaker. You have last 5 seconds. Please finish your statement and then we continue with another speaker.
Sociedad cívica, como en el caso del...
Civic society, as was the case of patient 2321 in the provincial hospital.
Is up. Time is up. I think its time is up. We will continue with the next speaker. And next speaker on our list. I see Eritrea is asking for the